Hi, this is Tawana Freeman. I am coming to you from the Black Life Coaches Network. And today on the call, we have Coach Atiya, an internationally known speaker and an author. She's well-traveled, and right now she is in London. Welcome, Atiya, to Black Life Coaches Network.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tawana.
You have done some wonderful work in your lifetime. Your career is full of different adventures, and you have so much efforts when it comes to women and empowering women and helping women understand what it really means to have self-determination. And so I thank you for being a part of the Black Life Coaches Network, and we just want to hear so much more from you. Whether someone is starting a business or trying to find a new love or start a new career in their second phase of life, all these things are going on. A lot of people want to do those. However, life happens. There are many variables in life that could prevent us from being able to pursue those new desires or new goals or new dreams. And so I wanted to find out what you thought about some of the reasons why we are running into so many obstacles that we have to deal with personally.
Wow, Tawana, that is a great question. One of the things that I have found during the course of my own journey is that oftentimes people have not clearly identified what it is that they really want. It's one thing to pursue happiness, but if you don't know what makes you happy, then you kind of go on a wild goose chase. And so in my coaching experience, as I'm communicating with my clients, one of the things I do is have them to list out just basically what are some of the things that they like to do, and also then help them to go on a journey to begin to discover those things or identify those areas that really makes them happy, not necessarily what people expect of them, but what they actually want for themselves. And I have utilized a tool called the Promise Plan, and the Promise Plan allows a person to kind of list and outline what it is they like to do, and then from that list of things to identify one or two specific ideals or things that they have listed, and then to begin to evolve and develop that.
Promise Plan, that is, I love the name of that because it is truly a commitment that we make to ourselves when we go to that place of having to assess what it is that we truly want and desire in this life. And a lot of times, and I've written about this as well, when you ask yourself, what is it that you really want to do that will bring you that sense of fulfillment and happiness, true happiness, it is a very difficult question to ask because it requires them to look at their life and to really kind of assess what is actually prohibiting you in a personal place. And when we discover the truth behind what is keeping us, it could be loved ones, it could be decisions that we made in our past that have prevented us from moving forward, whether it was having children early, whether it was a death in the family. There are all kinds of true, heartfelt, and deep reasons that can come out of the why we don't move forward. So I really like that Promise Plan. That's a real good tool.
Absolutely. It allows a person, as opposed to setting goals, because sometimes we can set goals and then we fall short of achieving those goals. But when you make a promise to yourself, that changes the perspective. And I actually utilize that tool. There's a book called Billionaire. Offhand, because I don't have it in front of me, I cannot remember the gentleman's name or recall the gentleman's name that wrote the book, but it is an online book that you can get, ebook, and it's free. And it's a wonderful tool. And I went through that process myself. As a matter of fact, when I was finishing up my book called From Ordinary to Extraordinary. And I had been working on the book for over 10 years, and I was in a very challenging time in my life, but I was committed to completing the book. Although I was in the middle of a very challenging part, I did have an accountability partner, and she kind of helped me to stay with the course, because part of the Promise Plan is you get an accountability partner. And it was very, very effective for me. And so I began to actually utilize that same tool, tweaked it a little bit to better fit the clientele that I work with, but it's a wonderful tool.
Right.
But when one is pursuing happiness, first of all, identifying what it is that they like to do and what actually makes them happy, and then actually begin to organize their thoughts, not just on paper, because I think when people have, when they're able to look at, not just keep it in their mind and their heart, but put it down on paper and actually look at what it is that they like, then it's better able to structure an action plan around that.
That's
and a
right.
lot of ideas and brainstorming happens from that.
Absolutely. And you hit on two key points. One was to write it out, which is about visualization, to visualize what it is that you want to do. But you also mentioned accountability partners. In the coaching arena, we both know how important it is to have someone that you're accountable to hold you to your promise to yourself. If you have a promise plan, you write it out, you visualize it. A lot of people like vision boards or dream mapping kind of thing, and or journaling, whatever is a tool you choose to use to submit to that promise. It's important. It's one of the key steps. And then after you've done that, having someone to keep you accountable to that timeline, because you have to set a timeline around it as well. So you set a timeline around that promise, so that people who are in your circle that you trust can hold you accountable. Very, very key information. Are there any watch outs that you would like to, tell our audience?
Well, actually, one of the key things is the negativity. Before I hit on that, if the 5 steps when you're manifesting an idea or a dream that you have, there's like 5 steps that a person can take. First of all, you have to think about it. Then you have to believe that what your idea is actually that you're capable of actually accomplishing that. And then you need to actually write it out. And then you need to talk about it. And then you actually need to take the steps to actually do it. So think, believe, write, speak, and do. Those are the 5 steps that are necessary. Now, in that process, one of the major things, you kind of hit it on it earlier when you talked about the family relationship issues or the past issues or children issues you have in children at a younger age or what have you. The main thing that you need to look out for is negativity. Right. And oftentimes you can share your ideas and your dreams with people, and they will actually sometimes hinder you if they don't believe in you. And then if you're struggling with your own insecurities in terms of your ability to be able to achieve it or accomplish it, then those things can be very detrimental. So negative people, negative environments, toxic environments, is to really watch out for those things. I think that's the number one thing you have to do. And sometimes when you set out to accomplish something, you'll find that the people in your life will change. Oh, yeah. Those people that may have been in your life, they may kind of phase out of your life and new people come in.
Unlike family members or close friends who may hold some of that stuff against you as you're moving forward, whether it's jealousy or if they feel that you're trying to be better than them or whatever the history may be, that stuff can present itself.
And what's interesting, Tawana, is, people that you know or who are familiar with you, they may see you as the person that you were. And so to them, you're always the person that you were. They don't necessarily see the person that you're destined to become.
Absolutely.
And so in many cases, it is very, very important, particularly if you don't have a supportive person around you, is to connect with a coach, an accountability partner who is not, like you say, familiar with all the dirty secrets of your life.
Right. That's an excellent point. You're so right with that. Well, I enjoy this conversation. I think it's fabulous, and I want to continue our dialogue again because I know we're going to get a ton of questions from our viewers. With that, we want to, again, continue to help educate our community on the benefits of coaching and allow us to assist them in that process. So how can people reach you?
Well, actually, I'm going to always drive them to my website first,
Sure, absolutely.
which is www.atiyaslight.com, and that's ATIYASLIGHT.com.
Fantastic. Atiya, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for connecting from
Thank
London.
you.
And I look forward to doing another session with you, and we can talk about contents of your books, because you had some great key points. There are very practical steps,
Wonderful.
but yet they are steps that you can't necessarily take on your own, and you need partners in the process. And so I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tawana. I really appreciate it, and you have a wonderful day.
You too.